telling me you got to do something. And so I came to ClearChoice.
Your mouth is the gate to your body. Joe's treatment plan was replacing the teeth with dental implants from ClearChoice.
ClearChoice has changed my life for the better. It's given me my health back. There's an amazing life.
$9.99. Are they crazy? Possibly. Are they going to change it? No, they already made the balloons. It's the best deal in mobile. Spectrum Mobile. Call, click, or visit a Spectrum store today.
Hi, I'm Jane King, and thank you for watching. This show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies. We bring you the innovators behind the companies making the headlines in that space. Some are sponsored, some are invited, all are curated and focused on telling you, the viewers, their story. Here we go. Equify is a digital platform that merges traditional banking with decentralized finance. And with me is the CEO, Brad Yasser, to talk about what Equify is doing, digital and banking and decentralized finance, and just kind of the whole thing. So let's just start. Brad, give me a definition. We're hearing decentralized and decentralized finance a lot lately. How would you define that?
Hi, Jane. Thank you for having me. DeFi is actually not a complex concept. It's decentralized finance, meaning a lot of the middlemen that exist today as the gatekeepers and the validators of all these products and services that are delivered in finance are replaced by a programmatic approach, by computer code. So instead of your banker being in the middle of a loan, because obviously banks gather funds and then they loan them out, and that's how they make money. Now, this requires a trusted entity in the middle, which is your bank. With decentralized finance, what has happened is instead of having a trusted authority in the middle, people said, what if we programmed it to act a certain way? So both parties know the outcome of the transaction. I know that if I loan you $5, that you're going to pay those $5 in 5 days, $1 a day. And then we don't really need a trusted central party. We don't need a bank because the program is going to run whether you like it, I like it or not. Mm-hmm. It's going to automatically access the funds. The payments are going to be made. I'm going to receive my loan. You're going to receive your repayments, or you lose your collateral in some instances. So there has been a move towards what can we do peer-to-peer, what can we do company-to-company, business-to-business, without having these really complex systems where there's sometimes multiple middlemen. And it slows down the process. It makes it cumbersome and more expensive.
Yeah. That's one of the best explanations I've heard of decentralized finance, actually. And you're doing this with the blockchain, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, we are.
So what are the challenges to decentralized finance at this moment?
Well, adoption and education, not in that order. It's education, then adoption, of course. But those are the two biggest challenges. If enough people knew about the options they have and were able to access it in a very simple, user-friendly fashion, they would definitely consider at least exploring. Mm-hmm. But that hasn't happened in the general public's mind. And with Equify, that's our number one prerogative, to bring DeFi, to bring digital banking to those who are not technically savvy, who are not included in the current financial systems for whatever reason. and show them how easy it is to have a positive return on their savings as opposed to what's being offered by the traditional banks right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that is certainly a challenge because people just, especially when it comes to money, they're kind of like, I don't know if I want to try anything new. I want to stay with what I know. So I think, that's a formidable challenge, but I think, we'll get there at some point, especially as new generations come up and they're more technologically savvy and more willing to accept new things, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to be open to change to benefit from these incredible returns and life-changing products that currently do exist, but only less than 10% of the population know about them. Yeah. And then even a smaller percentage actually venture out to use them.
Right. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about what your long-term goals for Equify. Where do you see this company going?
Well, we started Equify about a year ago. We started building it, and our goal was always to change lives. We weren't in it for anything other than being able to provide something to people who didn't have access to it, whether it be banking or decentralized finance products that have high returns. So long term, we want to accomplish one thing, and that is to be the gateway into crypto and DeFi for the general masses. That's our goal. In order to accomplish that, of course, we need to have institutional support. We need to have a lot of retail users. We need to have corporate partners. And every step of the way, that's what we have in mind. How can we make life better for people? How can we help them earn a higher return on their savings, on their investments? And how can we make it so simple that they're not scared to use it?
Very interesting. And you kind of start to get a sense of how banking is changing, with some of these new products. So thank you so much, Brad. Very interesting, CEO of Equify, and look forward to catching up again in the future.
Thank you for having me, Jane.
Thanks.
Need hearing aids? Tired of paying $5,000 or more? Tired of making multiple trips to have your hearing aids adjusted? Now you don't have to. Our Hear IQ 4 medical grade hearing aids are fully rechargeable, Bluetooth compatible, and start at under $1,000 for a complete set or monthly payments of $44. Our hearing aids are self-adjusting using any smartphone and features remote programming by hearing care professionals without you ever leaving home. Order your pair today at myheariq.com.
SEKUR is a new way to have completely safe and secure email and messaging. And with me, the CEO, Alon Gahi, to give me an update on the business. And Alon, good to see you again this week. And I know you've got, November's a key month for you and the company, yes, right? Tell me what's going to be unrolling in November.
Well, thank you, Jen. Hi to everyone who is watching us. So November is really the last month of the year for a company like ours to really push our sales, especially into businesses. And talking about businesses, as you may know, some of you have been following us, we have launched a consumer version of SEKUR with our email and messaging, and we've done some tweaks into it. So now we're getting a ton of requests from businesses. You have John at mybusiness.com, and they're hosted with typically unsecure email services from big tech and other companies that we won't mention here, but I'm sure we all know them. So now what we're going to do by the end of November, we are launching business email hosting. So the pricing is still going to be a little bit defined, but we're going to launch email only. So right now we've got SEKUR, which is an email and messaging app bundle for $10 a month. You get 100 gigabyte of storage, which is the most storage of any other company out there in the world that gives you high quality storage. And then you have also the Messenger app, which is Secure Messenger for $5 a month, which lets you send encrypted, private, and secure messages to other secure users and non-secure users. So we plan to launch by the end of November Secure Mail, which will be, I believe, around $7 a month for the consumer version and $10 for the businesses. And the businesses, the reason why it's more is that you can have several domains. So if you have 5 businesses, you know, we have medical companies, other law firms, they have 2-3 different domains. You'll be able to have up to 5 domains. You get at least 100 gigabyte of storage. We're looking at increasing that. And for $10 a month, it's really an amazing tool because businesses are the ones that really communicate to outsider and they communicate sensitive information. And that way they can use the Secure Send feature much better.
Well, Alon, I know I don't have to tell you about this ransomware issue and how big of a deal it is for businesses. I mean, we saw the meatpacking company just in the past 6 months, Colonial Pipeline. There was a local TV station group that was attacked more than a week ago, and they're still not back up and running again. And it disrupted their business. They were off the air. I don't know if they had to give ad time back. I mean, it's just a huge cost and a growing problem. This would prevent that, right?
This would prevent that 100% because 94% of all hacks in the world, and definitely in the business world, go through email. We have a term, it's called a BEC, a business email compromise. It's the business version of email phishing, essentially. And the reason why we can guarantee the protection is because we do not host our platform on any of the huge big tech platforms, which are great, but they're not really that secure. You can't secure 5 billion people when tens of millions of people work on the same code and everybody knows the secret sauce, as I like to say sometime on our secure segment with Anna. So essentially, we are no open source technology, proprietary tech, all hosted in Switzerland, so we obey by the strictest data privacy laws in the world. And we also have our own platform. So we're not hosting on Amazon Web Service. We're not using Office 365. It's not a Exchange email server, which, I mean, there's hundreds of articles about how many times they get hacked. So as much as I like Microsoft, I use Word, Excel, and all that, we never use their email. So now we're going to be able to give businesses the protection that they deserve and their email domain and also their client.
Well, yes, and we will talk about all that in the coming weeks. So thank you so much, Alon. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a great week coming up.
SEKUR, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. SEKUR is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. SEKUR doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download SEKUR. Visit SEKUR.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
PetVivo is a biomedical device company that focuses on treatments for animals, especially horses and dogs. And with me is John Lai, the CEO, with an update on what you've been working on lately. It looks like you've been very busy. You've got 17 products in the pipeline for animals, but there's also some human products you're working on too.
Yeah, we're very excited. Remember, we started off on the human side with the funding from NIH and DOD, but we decided to go animals once we got the designation as a human medical device, so we didn't have to do any regulatory work. So on the human side, we have some very interesting products that we feel will really help people as we launch these products into the marketplace.
And you will tell us about those when you're ready, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean, actually, there is public information on it.
Well, tell me about them, what you can.
So we developed a vascular shunt that has like zero clotting. And these are artificial shunts for the soldier in the battlefield that steps on a mine. The artery gets severed. They're putting artificial shunts in, and generally 30% of artificial shunts will clot. In our clinicals, we showed zero clotting.
Interesting.
And we were able to extend the time period that shunts usually stay in the body. It's very short term to get you to the hospital. We did with the pig studies, we did over a week of keeping the shunt in without clotting. So that's a pretty dramatic breakthrough, so we're excited about that. And then the other one is drug-diluting stents. Our stents does not create thrombosis after the drug is done diluting the 30-day period, because that was one of the major problems that other drug-diluting stents have had. So we're excited to potentially down the road launch those products, and most likely we'll partner with human device companies.
Okay, and of course your specialty, horses and dogs. Anything new with that?
Yes, so we went to the veterinary conference, Western Veterinary Conference in Vegas, had pretty good reception, and we're launching within 6 months a feline product for your cat. So we'll be helping a lot of elderly cats, because
that's breaking news.
Yeah,
cats are going to be, well, we can't ignore the cats.
There's 52 million cats in the United States,
It's huge.
so it's a big number. So our total addressable market will grow significantly. Right now it's about 4.8 billion, growing at 7%. So with the add-on of cats, I would expect that to be north of 7 billion, 6 to 7 billion range. Yeah.
And your products specifically address joints and things like that, right?
Yes, osteoarthritis, joints, it's called Spring with OsteoCushion technology. It's basically particles that mimic cartilage and tissue. So it's purely mechanical, so there is no adverse effects, negative side effects upon injection. And once it's injected, it's using intra-articular injection. Once it's injected, it actually forms a scaffolding, and it helps reinforce and improve over time, literally. For the next 6 months, we've seen a tendency for the mobility and reduction of pain to improve.
Okay. Now, you had a key hire recently, Dr. Joe Manning. So tell me what he brings to PetVivo.
He is very well known for his work in the equine space. He used to be a senior vet with Merck Animal Health. Probably 35 years of experience in the area, so it adds a lot of experience and credibility, because his job will be to support the sales staff when veterinary doctors have questions, because salespeople are not supposed to make recommendations on how to do injections. You leave it to other vets. So it's the same in the human space. That's why they have PhDs in pharmacology and a doctor on staff at these major pharmaceutical companies, so they can directly talk about off-label use and stuff like that.
Okay, well, thank you, John, for coming back, and I look forward to another update.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to New to the Street. This is your SEKUR segment, the weekly hack with Elaine Guillai. Elaine Guillai is with GlobeX Data, the leader in Swiss-hosted private and secure communications and data management. Welcome back, Elaine.
Thank you, Anna, and thanks for our viewers for watching us.
Well, it's unfortunate because we think with the need for international messaging, especially if it's a free service like WhatsApp, we think it's going to be safe and secure, but it's really just leaving the back door wide open for all type of breaches like this new one, this new malware that we are going to talk about today. Tell us what happened, Elaine.
So free doesn't mean secure, obviously, or safe. In fact, in the world of digital data mining, free usually means that it's unsafe and unsecure because the design of the application and the service are such that whatever you do is an open book. And then either the company themselves, like Facebook, which is WhatsApp is Facebook, they mine you, or the hackers can come in. Because when you have, an open postcard and you send it in the mail, everybody can read it, the good guys and the bad guys. So what happened is this is another Trojan malware that essentially was discovered by Kaspersky security firm. They do an antivirus. They're pretty famous. It was discovered in 2016. And then in 2019, again, it was discovered. And what it does is that it gets into your account through WhatsApp, obviously, because with WhatsApp, you have no security, no privacy. You have your phone number out there. And there's plenty of websites that show you how to hack an account. As long as you have their phone numbers, you can hack into their WhatsApp account and get in, then you have a backdoor, so to speak. So this one is not just content enough to steal your data. It basically will kind of like incubate. I like to use the word incubation because it keeps growing, the malware. So they put it in your phone someplace through the WhatsApp application. They have many malicious applications as well that carry those kind of malware. I mean, regular apps that are kind of supposedly, it's a cool app, but it's developed by hackers. So you have to think, when you see something free, find out who developed the app and what is it, do you really need it? But essentially this thing it's kind of like a sleeper cell, and it wreaks havoc on your phone and your data. I should mention that a few months ago, there were a few issues with WhatsApp in terms of controlling the data and siphoning it. So I think back in January, this is where Signal became popular. Facebook said, now you have to accept our terms of use or we shut down your account. There was a huge backlash back in February of this year. And this is where Signal became popular. But still, WhatsApp is like the biggest messaging app in the world out there. So now what happened is not too long ago, basically, if you had a WhatsApp account and you had your privacy setting, they manually, the new update, so they get you with these updates, the new update undid that privacy thing. So they got you and all your contacts. So the worst thing is that if you're a contact on WhatsApp, you would have been able to see all my contacts. Imagine that. It's just unreal. Whereas now if you send me, it's just you and me. So then manually people had to go back and undo something. And who knows about this? Who has time? So think of the hundreds of millions of people where if I message you on WhatsApp, I can also siphon all your contacts. That's the problem with these kind of free applications.
As always, learning so much from you, and thank you for informing us and the public here at New to the Street about how we can protect our data, our bank accounts, and not just ours, but our friends in our circle, the people in our communities. So as always, thank you so much for joining us on New to the Street, Elaine.
Need hearing aids? Tired of paying $5,000 or more? Tired of making multiple trips to have your hearing aids adjusted? Now you don't have to. Our Hear IQ 4 medical grade hearing aids are fully rechargeable, Bluetooth compatible, and start at under $1,000 for a complete set or monthly payments of $44. Our hearing aids are self-adjusting using any smartphone and features remote programming by hearing care professionals without you ever leaving home. Order your pair today at myheariq.com.
Rego Payment Solutions has an app called Missoula, and that is really based on kids and focuses especially on privacy. It's a financial app, but especially on privacy. So with me, CEO Dan Apter of Rego Payment Solutions, and also Julie Jetlau, who is a owner of Fuse, a youth marketing agency. So we're going to get an interesting perspective from you about what's going on with digital marketing to kids these days, because it's certainly complex. So Dan, let's start with you and just tell me a little bit about Missoula and what you're doing with the app.
Yeah, sure, Jane. So really quickly, Rego is a neobank, privacy first platform, as you mentioned. We provide family-oriented mobile wallet and commerce solutions. So both in-store, online purchases. So think touchless transactions specifically for families and for young children or teens. In the US, the mobile wallet market or virtual debit card market space is about an $800 billion addressable market. So it's quite sizable. We're addressing the fintech gap specifically for the 70 million or so underserved Gen Z teens and kids who are actually just getting involved with mobile commerce. And we hold 3 patents in the areas of privacy, PCI attribution, and identity management. We're the only certified COPPA and GDPR mobile wallet. So for those viewers that are not familiar with COPPA, and they probably heard so much in this past week and a half, 2 weeks of Facebook trials, it's abbreviation for Child Online Privacy Protection Act, which obviously has gotten a lot of attention. So finally, just want to say we're going to talk to you a little about what Missoula is today, but it's our direct consumer solution. So it really addresses child financial literacy, access to commerce. So really kind of creating kind of this concept of child empowerment or financial fiscal / responsibility. And then we never compromise on a child's safety and security. We really create kind of an environment where they can test and learn in a safe way because their identity always remains private.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then Julia, you have what, an 11 and a 14-year-old? And I have a 12 and a 14-year-old. I mean, we're living this life right now with the kids. And I am amazed at how marketing has changed to young people. It's digital and it's social. And I mean, from your perspective as an owner of Fuse, I mean, can you give us an overview of what these kids are, how the marketing is going to them? What are they seeing in their daily lives?
Yes, well, it's nice to meet you, Jane. It's true. I am a parent of young kids, an 11 and a 14-year-old. And I definitely understand the need for family digital mobile wallet that's safe and secure. I remember first meeting Dan and the Missoula team, and I was already an adopter of digital wallets for my kids. So we knew we were a good match because I had personal experience with the category. But it wasn't just my personal experience. At Fuse, we're a youth marketing agency, and we specialize in creating authentic brand engagement with Gen Z and millennials. And so, we do this for a lot of big companies, Fortune 500 companies, but we also do it for startups and innovative companies who want to be disruptive. And I would say that Missoula really falls into that category.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dan and Julie, for joining us today and telling us more about Missoula. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us, Jane.
Thanks, Jane.
Today, I'm working the hardest I've ever worked, giving my viewers every tool I can to help them succeed. I'm there for them with insight from experts and small business owners, people who can help you get to the next level.
Fox Business, invested in you.
You fill up. Focusing on the basics and using strong fundamental analysis and extensive company research is why we believe we are San Diego's choice to grow your investments. We don't use commission-type products at Wilsey Asset Management. We are a fiduciary-based investment firm.
Register today and get free access to our monthly workshops to learn the secrets of our long-term success.
See our investment strategy firsthand. We manage our personal portfolios as we invest yours. Don't miss a boat on investing with fundamentals.
Today's a mixing day. We've got a lot of mixing to do. I am a carefree, free leaven woman in the kitchen. It's all rich, delicious dessert. Dessert. Started on dessert. What am I doing? Boom! Parsley. Make some risotto. This is the fun part.
All new season of Magnolia Table. Stream on Discovery Plus.
Up, college is hard. Down, those books are heavy.
My sport is football, but my passion is education.
Right up here.
So every year I take promising high schoolers on a college tour
Lights there, darts there.
to show them that higher education means a brighter future. My name is Nnamdi Asamoah. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
You can be a reader, tutor, or mentor too. Take the pledge at liveunited.org/volunteer.
Do you wear this?
Come here, grab your plate. Here's your superfood, folks. What am I doing?
It's a new season.
It's too many good things at once.
With new men.
Then call Sunday. Sunday helps homeowners sell the fast, reliable, and easy way. Sunday gives you a free, no-obligation cash offer and buys homes in any condition. When you sell to Sunday, you pay 0 fees and don't have to do anything to your property. Call Sunday at 1-800-25-OFFER or visit our website to get your cash offer today.
Back with us now, former DHS Oversight Counsel. He's Mike Howell. So it's great to have you back on, Mike. Texas is saying in its border crackdown that it's working. It's stepping in where they say Biden checked out, that Texas apprehended more than 76,000 illegal immigrants, arrested over 8,800 for state or federal crimes like drug smuggling and human trafficking. What do you say?
Well, Texas is stepping up where the Biden administration has left them hanging. They're in the eye of the storm. Texas needs to do everything that is possible to be done. And given that the recent upflows are only getting worse, there's so much more to be done. Arresting folks on trespassing charges and on drug charges is a great start, but they need to be ready to repel the caravans that are coming in. They're facing down the barrel of the gun in these large-scale caravans that are marching right to their border. Their landowners or citizens are scared to death, and Texas needs to step in to make sure no illegal alien is able to enter that should not be there.
Illegal immigrants are coming in from 150 countries from around the world. The New York Times has reported that. You're right. Local residents want this stopped. They're talking about their properties getting damaged, ranches, rail yards. Migrants are often hiding on trains. Illegals are tearing up private property. You know, and the criticism of Texas is what they're doing is that, you know, they don't have enough basis for some of these charges. Well, what they're talking about is a fraction of those arrested on trespassing charges since July. And it takes months, if not to a year, to come up with the conclusion of those cases, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you know who has absolutely no basis for what they're doing? Is the Biden administration, who invited this crisis, is facilitating this crisis, and is rewarding this crisis. You know, we spent a lot of time talking about what Texas has the authority to do, and not enough talking about how the Biden administration has launched this unconstitutional takeover of the country via illegal immigration. I think Texas needs to act. The lawsuits are great. The executive orders are great, but it's the time for action. There needs to be actual action to deter, to repel and remove these people who are coming in.
It is so dangerous for children. Children are getting assaulted and attacked and getting killed. Thousands of people are dying. It's not humanitarian what they're doing. They're inviting human trafficking and drug smuggling and, you know, assaults on women and children. So we've got Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. He's taken the border fight right to the White House, Mike. He's saying he's going to block all Florida contracts to bus companies and airlines for aiding Biden's catch and release. Watch Ron DeSantis here.
And that individual
who was murdered was in fact murdered by an illegal alien who was on one of Biden's flights, these midnight flights, unannounced, no notice, no support for the state, no ability for us to veto it ahead of time. They use these private contractors. So what we're looking at is how can we fight back against the contractors? We can obviously deny them state contracts, which we will do. Unfortunately, they do have the ability to get into these airports because the FAA controls it and the feds really have jurisdiction over it. So we're trying to work with the local airport authorities, see if there's a way that we can get around that. But we are going to go after some of these contractors because they are bringing in people that are causing burdens on us and, as we've seen tragically, cause someone to lose their life.
The governor is talking about the White House resettling a 24-year-old illegal alien. He falsely claimed he was a 17-year-old unaccompanied minor. He was taken in by a family in Jacksonville, Florida. He went on to allegedly murder the 46-year-old father of 4 of that family. Your word on that?
This is an absolutely preventable crime. The Biden administration is the one who stabbed this poor man, but it certainly would not have happened.
We can't say that, right? That's a stretch. You can't go from there to that, right? But there is an issue with criminal illegal aliens committing acts against U.S. citizens, right?
No, it absolutely is. I'm saying the stabbing would never have occurred had these folks not been flown in. And that's what needs to end right now. I'm saying the Biden administration needs to end these policies we know predictably lead to these types of terrible events. There's no reason why individuals should be flown across the country without the consent of local officials, of state officials, to know who's coming into their communities. This program, this unaccompanied minor program for under 18, is rife with fraud. Of course, people are claiming that they're under 18 because that's what the Biden administration said could be let in. So everyone's claiming it. It is terrible. There's little oversight, and no one out in the states knows who's coming into their backyards. And more crimes like this will continue to happen unless we shut it down and get a controlled immigration system again.
Okay, well, we're going to stay on that story. It's certainly a tough thing. Is it going to end up in the Supreme Court, states' rights versus the federal government?
I think a lot of these are heading to the Supreme Court, and that's kind of the problem because it takes a long time. And the 10 months we're into the Biden administration now, we've seen over 500,000 illegal aliens released into the interior. It's untold, and more will come in until we finally get to the Supreme Court to shut it all down. Mike
Howell, we'll have you back on again soon. It's good to see you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Elizabeth McDonald. You've been watching The Evening Edit on Fox Business. That does it for us. We hope you have a good evening, and join us again tomorrow night.
The White House is lying to you. Inflation is here to stay. It's not transitory. That word doesn't even mean anything. And of course, it's going to get worse. But that's not according to Republicans. It's according to one of the most powerful Democrats in the Senate, maybe the most powerful man in the world. So how can you protect your finances before Sleepy Joe's policies empty your bank account and ruin your holidays? So fun starting the show on a positive note. Earlier today, the Labor Department announced the price of goods jumped 6.2% compared to this time last year. That's the biggest spike in more than 30 years. The last time it jumped that much was November of 1990, right after I graduated from high school because everyone was sad. It's when Ice Ice Baby was the number one song in America. Eggs and seafood right now up 11%. Bacon up 20%. Enjoy that BLT with no B. Steak up a whopping 24%. Sorry, Del Frisco's. Today, President Biden said he's on top of the crisis.
I'm here to talk about one of the most pressing economic concerns of the American people, and it's real. And that is getting prices down, number one. Number two, making sure our stores are fully stocked. And number three, getting a lot of people back to work while tracking and tackling these two above challenges in the world economy. The global supply chains have helped dramatically bring down price we pay for things we buy. But they also made us much more reliant on what happens in other parts of the world.
We shouldn't be reliant on other parts of the world. Isolationism, here we come. All right, President Joe, what are you talking about? As you might expect, Republicans say the president is very wrong. Watch.
I want to ask for a show of hands of how many of you have been to the grocery store lately and noticed what's going on here. The price of everything is going through the roof. The American people basically said last Tuesday, stop. Enough is enough.
I like his spit curls. He looks like a flapper. But it's not only Republicans who think the White House is full of baloney, very expensive baloney. Some Democrats do too, including powerful West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin. Yeah, here's Mr. Powerful tweeting, by all accounts, the threat posed by record inflation to the American people is not transitory and is instead getting worse. From the grocery store to the gas pump, Americans know the inflation tax is real, and D.C. can no longer ignore the economic pain Americans feel every day. And one New York grocery store based in New York says, buckle up.
They're going to see a minimum of 10-15% higher, especially Thanksgiving, and we're going to have shortages. So I'm saying to people, buy early. Don't take a chance on being short something special for your Thanksgiving or your Christmas to come.
So how long will this actually last? And since we can't count on the White House, what can each of us do to save a little bit of money? Joining me to discuss, it's Fox News contributor and professor of business and economics at the King's College in Manhattan, Brian Brenberg. This is Brianomics. Save us, Brian.
You want me to save you from 6.2% inflation, the highest in 30 years, and you've got an administration saying we're going to spend more money to get us out of it. That's the problem here. You've got administration that wants to pour fuel on this fire, and which is why this is going to last a heck of a lot longer than they're talking about. What's happened now is it's gone from an issue where it's been based largely in used car prices and energy to now everything. Grocery store, appliances, you name it, wherever you go, you're paying more. So, look, what can you do about it? On the one hand, look, your viewers at home know how to pinch pennies. You've pinched pennies before, you can do it again. The problem is resigning yourself to that fact. I think what the Biden administration would like us to do is say, well, you can't do anything about it. There's just a lot of demand, and these supply issues, they're globally based. So, you know what? Just buckle up and deal with it.
Yeah, blame it on the theoretical global supply chain.
Yeah.
And the meat packers and the truckers. Don't take any responsibility for yourself. But, okay, is there something the government can do, or would the government be better doing less?
First of all, start saying sensible things. Stop talking about spending your way out of the problem. That is the biggest issue. Number two, stop talking about curtailing energy. The thing people are concerned most about is gas and heating oil. It's wintertime. It's going to be wintertime in Michigan and Minnesota. In the Northeast, it's going to get cold. People don't want to pay 50%, 100% more for heating costs this winter. So stop talking about canceling pipelines in Michigan that bring us 540,000 barrels of oil. Get rid of the vaccine mandate. That's fouling up employment markets. I mean, we don't know how big the effect is, but why even test it? We don't need that. Localities and businesses can deal with it. You don't need the federal government involved, and don't spend $4 trillion. It's going to make these are common sense things.
But that's what I want someone to ask the president. So if $4 trillion is good, wouldn't $15 trillion be better? Like, if you're really going to get the economy kickstarted with $4 trillion, why not quadruple that and really spend some serious money? Because then, it's like, well, this will be the most roaring economy the world has ever seen by that logic, but that can't be true.
Yeah, if we can spend $4 trillion to bring down inflation, why not spend $15 trillion? Here's the point. He doesn't care. He's not looking at the problem. He's looking at his agenda. This is just a road bump on the path to what the left demands that he do, which is why his answer has never changed, no matter what the problem. They've been talking about this Green New Deal plan for 4 or 5 years. Notice the same plan that existed 4 years ago for social justice reasons now conveniently exists to solve inflation. When somebody's throwing the same solution at different problems, it's not a solution for anything. It's like their agenda.
It's like how they pull the same tax pool to pay for a number of different projects. One source can't fund every single thing you want. And Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, says, this is it's going to be gone by early next year. Why is she saying that?
Who believes her? I mean, well, she's saying it because she has to, because the administration needs her to, because if she admitted what's really going on, they'd have to change course. They'd have to stop spending. They'd have to stop killing energy markets. They'd have to stop with the labor policies. She cannot tell the truth because the truth demands exactly the opposite of what they're doing, which is why the president will not reverse course, which is why this is a problem that will be with us for a long time. Financial markets get it. If you look at anybody who's taking an honest look at where markets are going to go next year in the economy, every one of them says inflation is here to stay. Transitory was the biggest economic lie that we've heard this year.
So Jerome Powell, Janet Yellen, both engaging in that lie. They're doing it to cover up for the president, and they should resign for a number of reasons.
They're doing it to monetize the debt we can't pay. That should scare everyone because that's the inflation that's the inflation that never goes away.
Nothing easy about quantitative easing.
Nothing easy about it.
Thank you, Brian Brenberg. Brianomics, only right here on the Ken Daily Show. Very good. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris' approval ratings historically terrible, and now late night host Jimmy Kimmel thinks he knows why. Watch.
I think I know why Kamala's ratings are low, besides sexism and racism, which are the obvious ones. It's because whenever she's next to Joe, standing near him, behind him, she looks like an assassin. She looks like Nebula next to Thanos, ready to, right?
I remember when he was really funny when he was on Kevin and Bean. So is sexism and racism really to blame for Kamala Harris's horrible numbers? Yeah, she just stands in the background doing nothing. That's really it. That's actually kind of insulting as well. But let's get into it with the party panel, and they can decide. We've got New York Post columnist and the Spectator USA contributor Carol Markowitz is back, former State Department deputy spokesperson and Fox News contributor, wearing beautiful Buckeye red. It is Marie Harf, and 2020 Libertarian vice presidential candidate, and maybe the president of the future, Spike Cohen, is here. He's in New York, but we can't see him. He's a secret. So let's discuss some of this. I think it's actually sexist to say that the vice president does nothing. Nothing should be expected of her. And if we do expect something from a backup quarterback, that's on us, Carol.
Yeah, you know, I just want Jimmy Kimmel to explain how he's more unlikable than Kamala Harris. I mean, he's a white man, and yet he's super unlikable. I don't find Kamala Harris that unlikable. I think she's got some really annoying traits. I think once you spend a little time with somebody, those kinds of traits come out. We've gotten to know Kamala Harris better since she's been vice president. But I wouldn't say unlikable. I just don't find her particularly effective in her job, which is a completely separate matter. So I wouldn't say it's sexism or racism. There's plenty of unlikable white men. Jimmy Kimmel, high on that list.
All right, so Marie, Jimmy has been a very knowledgeable sports person for a long, long time. That's how he got his start in broadcasting. But saying that Kamala Harris is the backup quarterback, that's not quite true. You can actually have two games happening simultaneously, as you have to as president. When you're running the country, you have so many problems happening, so many games happening at the same time. And he has actually tasked the vice president with some really big jobs. And I would argue that her race and gender are the only redeemable, interesting things about her.
Well, Kennedy, I think that we have a long history of women and politicians of color who are judged by very different, harsher standards. And a lot of the language that's used to criticize Kamala Harris is incredibly sexualized. We saw when she was named the vice presidential candidate, when people questioned how she had risen so far in politics and insinuated really terrible things. And so, look, I do think a lot of the criticism is on its face sexist and racist. But it just doesn't make sense that she has a lower approval rating than someone like Dick Cheney, who literally shot someone in the face. Like, there's something going on here, and I think part of it is sexism and racism. I think part of it is that Joe Biden has given her an incredibly powerful agenda as vice president. Many vice presidents haven't had that much power. Think about people like Dan Quayle, for example, or even Mike Pence, who didn't have a huge agenda when he was in the White House. So, look, she has tough issues she's in charge of, certainly, and that is probably part of it, too.
So if that were the case, then by Marie's logic, if we're just employing sexism and racism, Joe Biden should be really, really popular, Spike.
Yeah, also, keep in mind, Dick Cheney shot an attorney in the face, so I think that actually helped him. Look, if Jimmy Kimmel thinks that Kamala Harris is racist and sexist and that's why her approval ratings are going down, who am I to argue? Or maybe he means that the Democratic voting base, who had such a low opinion of her in her run that she dropped out before they even had the actual primaries, maybe that's what he meant. I tend to think that it's because her approval rating is low for the same reason that Joe Biden's is low. As you put it, the Bidenflation, the soaring inflation that we're seeing, the backlash from the vaccine mandates, the problems with the supply chain and the labor pool, everything else that we're going through, and the fact that, as you said, Joe Biden keeps almost using Kamala Harris as his foil. He keeps putting the most difficult things on her that she often doesn't have any power to do anything other than stump on. And I think that's stabbing her in the back there. Honestly, I think Joe Biden's making sure that he doesn't have a primary challenger in 2024.
Yes, you've heard of too big to fail. She's too secondary to succeed. And I think that's what the administration is worried about. But the administration is not the one that's being pulled here. It's American voters. And, she's got such poor numbers because everyone knows the president is in cognitive decline. He's not doing well. Right. He looks more tired and less coherent than he did a year ago. And she's supposed to be the person who's going to step in if for some reason he has to resign. And I think that worries voters more than having Joe stay put for another 3 years. All right. Party panel is going to stick around. We got so much more, including President Biden spending months pushing his workplace vaccine mandate. But have you heard how he plans to enforce it? All right, get your gun and badge because you're part of the plan. The one and only John Stossel. He's going to break it all down. Very well. Next.
My name is Brian Kilmeade, been with the channel since 1996. I loved my job at Fox, but I didn't realize the impact Fox was having on the rest of the country. I got a call that Sylvester Stallone was doing a boxing exhibition to announce some promotion downtown. Growing up, I loved the Rocky movies, loved Sylvester Stallone, would love to have met him. And I got there and it was chaos. They quickly let us know, press will not speak to Stallone one-on-one. And I thought, well, at least I'll get a chance to see him within 50 feet. And all of a sudden, Stallone gets in the ring, he bends over, he looks at the press, he sees me, and he says, hey, Brian, come on over here. And I thought, what is he talking about? And he just says, what brings you here? You. He goes, oh, great. He goes, I'm just going to be boxing a little bit. I'll be able to talk to you after. I thought to myself, this is one powerful place. It's resonating with a lot of people. It matters.
Hi, I'm Mark Spitz. I never dreamed that I would be endorsing a pain relief product, but here I am, very excited to tell you about Relief Factor, the 100% drug-free supplement that is helping tens of thousands of people lower or even eliminate their pain, like this person.
I'm 50 years old, I run marathons, and I'm also a police officer. Getting in and out of the car was terrible for my hips. I heard about Relief Factor on the radio, so I thought I'd try it, and within 1 week I was completely out of pain. I really love Relief Factor. It's made a huge difference for me and my quality of life.
Getting older, exercise, and everyday living can cause pain too, which is why Relief Factor created the 3-week quick start and then discounted it to $19.95, about $1 a day to get out of pain. And after that, less than the cost of a cup of coffee a day to stay out of pain. Live your life with Relief Factor, only at relieffactor.com or call 800-4RELIEF.
Reflect on the past, celebrate the future. Season's greetings from Audi.
As someone who resembles someone else, I appreciate that Liberty Mutual knows everyone's unique. That's why they customize your car insurance, so you only pay for what you need. I mean, just because you look like someone else doesn't mean you eat off the floor, or yell at the vacuum, or need flea medication. Oh yeah, that's the spot. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Dignity. It demands that you can do simple things with ease while managing chronic pain. It demands a better understanding of your glucose levels so you can enjoy movie night, and that your heart stays connected to your doctor so you know it's beating as it should. At Abbott, we fight for these moments, developing life-changing technologies because dignity demands it.
At Vanguard, you're more than just an investor. You're an owner with access to financial advice, tools, and a personalized plan that helps you build a future for those you love. Vanguard. Become an owner.
Veterans supporting veterans. See their stories on Mornings with Maria. Then, China's military plans revealed. Inside the shocking report, General Jack Keane has details on Varney.
2 or more lines, it's just $29.99 a month each. $29.99! And I know what you're thinking, what can I really be getting for that price? Everything. Unlimited data, 5G included. You get this guy, he's great, he never stops. And you get, balloons. You also get the most reliable service coast to coast for just $29.99. Hey, I got you these. Thanks. And also, there's no added taxes, no hidden fees, no contracts. And you get the fastest overall speeds for just $29.99 a month.
$29.99?
Oh, I know. It's very good.
This is thousands of hours of advanced research.
And yet, still $29.99. That's a multi-billion-dollar network you're getting. For how much? Oh, right. And you also get, this is a closet. And all this comes on a super secure connection. $29.99. Are they crazy? Possibly. Are they going to change it? No, they already made the balloons. It's the best deal in mobile, Spectrum Mobile. Call, click, or visit a Spectrum store today.
Welcome back. President Biden's federal vaccine and testing mandate is hitting a new roadblock. There's no one to enforce the rules. A new report claims OSHA doesn't have enough inspectors to properly check the companies are complying with the mandates, so they're banking on snitches. Snitches get stitches. Seriously. That's actually their plan. But will any employees blow the whistle if they're worried about losing their jobs? And if not, is the vaccine mandate over before it begins? Here to break it on down, it is Stossel TV founder, the one and only John Stossel. Welcome back, Stossel.
Thank you, Kennedy.
So what is OSHA trying to do here? They've only got 800 inspectors, and there are 100,000 places of work with 100 or more employees. The math doesn't add up. So what are they asking people to do?
Well, the reports are they're relying on snitches, like you said, and I think they'll get them. There's always some workers who are disgruntled and want to turn in somebody they don't like or don't think the employer is enforcing it. But I hate when you say they only have 800 inspectors. That's too many. Bill Clinton was fond of holding up a chart showing, look how workplace injuries have dropped since OSHA was created. And then somebody did some research before OSHA was created, and the slope of the line was exactly the same, meaning as we get richer and smarter and learn from mistakes, things get safer. And you don't need these 800 inspectors second-guessing every employer in the country. Plus, isn't COVID supposed to be almost over now? And now is the time to initiate more intrusion? I don't think so. And
won't that just exacerbate some of the supply chain issues that we already have? You know, that they're having a hard enough time getting enough people, enough bodies inside manufacturing plants to get stuff out the door and, you know, put together and onto shelves. So this only adds another layer that sort of gums up the entire process that everyone desperately needs to keep going.
But the politician never thinks about that. They just see a problem and they think of a rule they could impose that might solve it. And the fact that you get millions of businesses making decisions every day and having to adjust to this or that reality that you're going to screw that up doesn't occur to them.
Do you think the vaccine mandate will stick, or do you think the legal challenges to it will undo it and make things better for people who are trying to hire and keep enough employees to keep functioning?
I don't think it'll stick. The legal challenges may help. But also, if we now have pills that make it so that most people won't get very sick or they can be treated if they do, why do you need all these draconian measures? Most people are vaccinated. The virus is pretty much under control. The only people dying are people my age who are obese or have some other condition that might have killed us anyway.
Did you get vaccinated?
Yes. 3 times.
So did I. I didn't get vaccinated. I haven't gotten a booster shot yet. But there's still people who glare at me in the elevator if I'm not wearing a mask. And I'm like, I had the virus, you're wearing a mask, and I got the vaccine. Why are we still acting as though we're at the peak of the virus when you make such a good point about, you know, the pill and the treatments that we've already got? People have lost their minds, and they've done it because politicians have been selling us this fear in order to amass more power.
And there are people who embrace the fear even without the politicians doing it. And in debates, fear generally wins. You might kill me in the elevator. You should wear the mask. It's hard to argue with that. I put it on just because I don't want to tick people off.
I know. I do. I carry it with me in case there's like a newborn baby because I don't want to make, you know, the mom upset. I totally understand that. If someone's really, really freaked out, I get it. I don't want to make anyone sad. But I do like telling people who don't have masks on in the elevator when I'm also not wearing a mask to wear a mask. It's very confusing.
No, I like telling people, thank you for not wearing a mask. It just makes life so much better. I'm also I'm in Florida now, where there's little of this masking that I see in New York.
No, it's one big orgy there in Florida. It's an entire nudist colony of people marauding and having a great time. Here in New York, we're pooping in the streets, John. You've got it the right way around. Thank you very much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Coming up, President Biden reportedly planning this week to send notices to illegal migrants. This after he said those separated under the Trump policy are going to be paid $500,000 apiece. So why is our immigration system so broken, and why do we keep offering incentives? The party panel will discuss in moments.
Hey Google.
Your record label is taking off, but so is your sound engineer. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Indeed Instant Match instantly delivers quality candidates matching your job description. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how? Don't you just ride the wave?
No. We actively manage client portfolios based on our forward-looking views of the market.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions, right?
No, we don't sell commission products. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in our clients' best interests.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep. We do better when our clients do better. At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different.
Every business is on a journey, and along the ride, you'll find many challenges. Your Dell Technologies advisor can help you find the right tech solutions, so you can stop at nothing for your customers.
I order my groceries online now.
Shingles doesn't care. I keep my social distance. Shingles doesn't care.
I stay within my family bubble.
Shingles doesn't care. Because if you've had chickenpox, you're already carrying the virus that causes shingles. In fact, about 1 in 3 people will develop shingles, and the risk only increases as you age. So what can protect you against shingles? Shingrix protects. Now you can protect yourself from shingles with a vaccine proven to be over 90% effective. Shingrix is a vaccine used to prevent shingles in adults 50 years and older. Shingrix does not protect everyone and is not for those with severe allergic reactions to its ingredients or to a previous dose. An increased risk of Guillain-Barré syndrome was observed after vaccination with Shingrix. The most common side effects are pain, redness and swelling at the injection site, muscle pain, tiredness, headache, shivering, fever, and upset stomach. Talk to your pharmacist or doctor about protecting yourself with Shingrix. Shingles doesn't care, but we do.
At T-Mobile for Business, unconventional thinking means we see things differently so you can focus on what matters most. Whether it's ensuring food arrives as fresh as when it departs, keeping crews connected as they help build communities, or providing patients the care they need even at home. We are the leader in 5G and a partner who delivers exceptional customer support and Facebook advertising on us. Network, support, value. No trade-offs. Unconventional thinking. It's better for business.
I'll shoot you an estimate as soon as I get back to the office.
Hey, I can help you do that right now. Hi, Thrive.
Right.
Yep, I'm the all-in-one management software built for small business. Hi, Thrive. Ow. Get a free demo at thrive.com.
What makes new Salonpas Arthritis Gel so good for arthritis pain? Salonpas contains the most prescribed topical pain relief ingredient. It's clinically proven, reduces inflammation, and comes in original prescription strength. Salonpas, it's good medicine.
Now's the time to unleash crypto's boundless potential. When those who dare act. When those who yearn break free. When the bold build. And Arculus is the cryptocurrency storage solution designed to protect it. Get safe, simple, smart access to the rewards of crypto investing. Arculus, your keys, your crypto.
The U.S. immigration system is a mess, and President Biden doesn't have a broom. According to a new report, the administration will be sending out court notices this week to tens of thousands of unprocessed illegal migrants. Good luck with that. That always works out pretty well. This after the president said immigrants separated at the border under Trump deserve big payouts. Migrants are still coming in at record numbers. Customs and Border Patrol says arrests during this fiscal year at a 35-year high. Good job. That's so exciting. Isn't this an invitation for more people to make the dangerous trek and come here illegally? So why not just really get to the root cause and end the drug war? The party panel is back. Carol Markowitz, Marie Harf, and Spike Cohen. There is so much wrong with immigration policy in this country, Carol, and I honestly don't think that paying money to people who have been aggrieved is a good way to control the flow of people who are coming here right now.
Yeah, I think Mitch McConnell had the best line about it, where he said that this sounds like a joke that right-wingers made up to make fun of the Biden administration. And I think Biden actually agreed with that, because he called the plan garbage when he seemingly first heard about it. And it is garbage, because it's going to encourage people to come. It's not like people in Guatemala are going to hear about this and say, oh, it's only for a few people. They're going to hear that they're going to become millionaires if they get to the American border. And it's going to encourage people to take this very dangerous trek. I was a refugee. We had to wait in Italy before we were admitted to the U.S. From the Soviet Union. And, rumors would spread through the communities, like Australia is not letting people in anymore, or Canada has opened its borders, and people would make life decisions based on that and rumored information. So we're going to ruin a lot of lives with this. This isn't just a payout that makes no sense. It's going to destroy lives for people.
Yeah, anytime you have $450,000. That's a lot of money to someone who's got a great set of circumstances. But to someone who's essentially been held hostage by narco-terrorists and is desperate to leave their country, that is so much money. You're going to do whatever you possibly can. You're going to rip your own child out of your arms in order to get that kind of a payout. And I don't see how you could call that anything but an incentive, Marie.
Well, I don't know that will end up being the final number. This is part of an ongoing set of legal cases where
let's say it was $250,000. Do you think it would have an opposite effect?
Well, let me finish, Kennedy. Let me finish. This is part of ongoing litigation on behalf of families that were forcibly ripped apart by the Trump administration. And I think, the question for all of us is if that had happened to us, if our children or our parents were forcibly separated from us, what number could we ever put on that? And I do think our country owes something to these families that we forcibly and inhumanely ripped apart. And we can debate what the incentives are for people to take that trek to the United States, and that's a fine intellectual debate to have. But on this narrow issue of these families that our government did this to, I do think they deserve something. I don't know what the number is, but they deserve something
Marie,
for what we did to them. And if it had been done to us,
fine. Marie, will
what
Democrats
number would we all be okay with?
Not that. Will Democrats admit that what they're doing now is just as bad as what was done under the past administration and pretty much every administration before that? Will you admit that? Or are you only going to abstract certain grievances when it's politically convenient? Because I think that is immoral. Go ahead, Spike.
So the thing is, it's interesting that Joe Biden, when he was asked about this, said that it was garbage. So once again, we have a bad policy from the Biden administration, which Biden himself either doesn't know about or lied about not knowing about. Either way, it amounts to the same thing. But it is true that this is only going to a handful of families who were abused and separated. And this speaks to a bigger problem that government has, which is that when the government abuses people, we have to pay for it.
Yes.
They don't have to pay for it. So this is obviously an argument for ending the war on drugs and the war on migration, but even more so, it's a call to end immunity for government and its agents. Politicians and agents and agencies should be the one on the hooks for this, not the American taxpayer. Someone said that we did this. I didn't do this. No one here on this panel and no one watching this, unless you were one of those Border Patrol agents that was involved in this, no one here actually did this. And yet we're the ones, and future generations in the form of debt payments are the ones that are going to have to pay this off. The best way that you deal with this is you hold bad actors in government accountable. And yes, that also means ending the war on drugs, which is leading to these big surges of people coming here in the first place. This is not good policy.
Can you people not watch Narcos Mexico? Season 3 just came out. Come on, man, help me out here. Meanwhile, when it comes to foreign policy, President Biden is also failing so badly, even his friends are turning on him. The president's former Senate colleague, they used to have such a good relationships. South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, who once called Biden the nicest person in politics, said this today on Fox about the president's failures in Afghanistan. Watch.
The military told President Biden that if you withdraw all of our forces, if you leave Bagram Air Base, we can't defend what's left and the place will collapse. Joe Biden has been the most incompetent president in my lifetime on foreign policy, worse than Jimmy Carter. He doesn't understand the nature of the war on terrorism. He has blood on his hands, and he's made America less safe, and he's been the most consistently wrong man on foreign policy in my lifetime.
Woo, he's going to say that a few more times. So is Joe Biden the most incompetent foreign policy president in history? That's really saying something, Carol.
I don't know why he's limiting it to foreign policy. I mean, we're having trouble stocking milk on shelves, and when that milk does get to the supermarket, it's like $6. So I don't know why we're just limiting it to foreign policy. But yes, absolutely. The fact that we left Americans behind in Afghanistan is a travesty. It should be on the nightly news every single night. We should be covering the Americans that have been left behind. But because the media generally provides cover for the Biden administration, we don't see that on the nightly news. So, I don't have Lindsey Graham and I don't always agree on everything, but I appreciate that he's calling out his buddy Biden. I do.
Is it possible, Marie Harf, that both Joe Biden and Lindsey Graham are bad on foreign policy?
Well, look, Lindsey Graham, you can criticize Afghanistan. We can all criticize things that were done in Afghanistan. But Lindsey Graham, for 4 years, has shilled for President Trump on foreign policy, giving up every principle Lindsey Graham ever had on foreign policy, including things like being tough on Russia. So I don't think Lindsey Graham has a ton of credibility here.
So you agree with President Trump's foreign policy? That's fascinating. Very good admission. Okay, keep going.
No, I definitely don't. I definitely don't.
You are.
But look, the media doesn't cover foreign policy because the American people don't tend to push them to, right? I think the media should cover it more. These are the things I really care about. But Joe Biden inherited a really difficult situation. He's been rebuilding alliances. He's been bringing countries, that felt really short-shrifted over the last 4 years back back into the fold, and he's been taking on China and Russia in ways that President Trump didn't. And so I think Lindsey Graham is playing politics here like he always does.
That's a great point.
And Joe Biden's working really hard to rebuild us.
Marie, refresh my memory. When did the president come out and say that Beijing should not hold the 2022 Olympic Winter Games? Because that would be putting pressure on China appropriately.
I know that's your favorite topic, Kennedy.
Actually, no, I have a lot of favorite topics.
Your favorite topic.
No, but I think that's really important. You just said the president is tough on China. How? Okay, Spike, go ahead.
Look, I think he's taken...
Too long of a pause.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Spike. I will let you talk now.
I appreciate that. Thank you. So first of all, I would like to apologize because I actually voted for Lindsey Graham twice. He's my senator. And I would like to just before. So take everything I say with a grain of salt because I voted for the man not once. Then for 6 years I went, yeah, no, that was good, and I voted for him again. So I would just full penance there. Now with that said, I don't know that anyone could have done